Hey witches! It is Tara Incognita here. I am your sub-host this Tuesday, and today we are going to be discussing what led us to the pagan path. Welcome to Starting Out Solitary. I have done a video kind of about this a little bit before on my personal channel, but you know, I've been aware of paganism and Wicca and witchcraft for a long time. I think probably when I was, I don't know, I want to say when I was 16, I was working at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I was really good friends with my manager, and she was telling me and my other best friend who also worked with me that she was learning Wicca, and we had no idea what that was, and so we kind of had her explain it to us. And then she was learning like the energy exercises where you can feel other people's energy. So she would like have us stand at one end of the room, and then she would stand at the other, and she would push and she would pull, and we could feel our bodies moving, and it was so weird. And so, you know, from then I was like, ooh, this is kind of interesting, what is this? But I didn't really pursue it because there was still that whole stigma of witchcraft, and you know, you hear all the horror stories about Ouija boards and things going wrong and people inviting dark spirits into their homes, and you know, you really don't know the whole story, get the full picture. And so there was still a lot of stigma on it at that point. And then later on, when I was probably, I think when I was 17, I think it's when I was a senior in high school, so it was the next year, I had another friend that I was actually in drama with, and she said that she was a witch and she was practicing witchcraft and stuff. And so it really got me thinking. And then I forgot about it for several years. But like, I would joke with my friends and stuff, you know, that I wasn't a Christian, but if I had a religion, you know, maybe I would go be a druid because they worship nature and that's something you can believe in. And, you know, I'll go live out in the woods and be a druid, you know? And then I would get these Christian catalogs or magazines in the mail. I'd get on some mailing list somehow, and I'd get all these magazines. And then my other friend, she would get like the Pyramid collection that had all the witchy stuff in it, or some other, you know, magazines that had all the witchy stuff in it. And I'd be like, oh, we're getting the wrong magazines, we need to switch. You know, the free little catalogs. So it was funny. But, you know, so it was always kind of a joke that that's what I would do, that's what I would do. And it was always in the back of my head, but it was never anything that was serious. But I have always been that person that has been able to believe in the impossible. So, you know, reincarnation, I always thought that was a real thing. I always thought you go to heaven or wherever you go for all eternity. Well, then what? You know, what would your soul do? I mean, I'm sure that's far beyond the capacity of my brain to even conceptualize, but an eternity doing something just seems very bleak. It's a reincarnation where you're cycling through lives and learning things and growing and evolving, and that always made sense to me. So, and maybe that's not the way it works, but for me, I feel like that is the way it works. Like, I really feel like we do have past lives and we reincarnate, and so there's pieces that I've always had that kind of fit this little puzzle. You know, the believing in magic was not a stretch for me, especially because I don't really believe that it's a supernatural thing. You know, you kind of just feel like you get this feeling like you have this power inside you that wants out. You feel like you have it. And so when I discovered that there was magic and this was a real thing, it was like, I knew it. I knew there was something there. I've always known that there was something there. So there's I really think, and that's the way it is for a lot of us, we have all these little pieces that we pick up along the way, and when we put that name to it, that we're a pagan, we're a witch, we're a Wicca, we're a druid, we're, you know, whatever tradition we follow or whatever we decide to do, if we're an eclectic, solitary, like I am, whatever it is you do, you found that you've kind of been leading up to this for a long time. At least that's how it was for me. So that's how I found my way to this. And then 2 years ago, I just decided I was ready to take that next step. And I told my husband, I said, I'm going to get some books on this. I want to know what this is, because I'm looking for spirituality. I'm looking for something to feed my soul. I need something, and I want to learn more about this. And so that's what I did. And I got some books, and I started watching some YouTube videos, and then, you know, I was gonna not call myself a witch, not call myself a pagan. I was gonna wait and, you know, and kind of try to do an initiation and try to do all this stuff. And I just, one day I was like, you know what? I am what I am. And I'm always going to be studying. I'm always going to be learning. I'm always going to be trying new things and incorporating new things into my practice. And I'm not going to wait to call myself a pagan or a witch, because I really feel like that's what I am. And so here we are 2 years later, and you've kind of, if you've been on my personal channel, you can kind of watch my growth, because my entire pagan career for 2 years has been on YouTube. And yeah, so that's where we are. If you would like to share how you came to paganism with us, we would love a video response or comments. Just post below. And if you have any questions, if you have any topics you want us to discuss, leave those in the comments also. And we will see you next time. Blessed be.